Hello and welcome to this week's episode of MT Squared, Minerva's 2-minute tactics for your procurement, which this week I've taken my lead from every single other individual that's been seen on any footage, on any news programme this week, and I have a set of books behind me, which I believe is, it's the done thing if you're doing any kind of presentation. Sadly, my books don't portray any kind of intelligence whatsoever. They're much more like crime novels. But anyway, so this week's tactic, well, there's a couple really. The first thing I want to say is please breathe. I know that this has been an unbelievably challenging 2 weeks for you all. We've been exactly the same here at Minerva. There is so much going on. It's really hard to see the wood for the trees at the moment. But what I would say is if you're feeling overwhelmed, which I think many of you have been, please stop, pause, take a breath, move away from what you're doing for a little while, go and have a little wander around your garden if you're lucky enough to have one, or just go and make yourself a cup of tea. But please just stop and have a breather, because I think that's really important when we're going through this. I think the main thing and the second sort of tactic for this week is around catering contracts, because that's the thing that most people have really been struggling with, to understand what they should and shouldn't be accepting from their catering contractors. And annoyingly, I know this will annoy you, but I'm going to have to say that it isn't a one-size-fits-all approach, as you would expect. And equally, it is not black and white. It is very grey. So, what is the right advice, guidance, interpretation of the documentation that we've seen for one school is not going to be the same for another one. Each case needs to be looked at generally on its individual merits. That said, I think if you are able to speak to other business managers who have the same contractor as you and can maybe in a particular area or a trust formulate a sort of group response, group interpretation to what you've got, then I think that is particularly useful rather than you all trying to reinvent the wheel. I think, some contractors are furloughing staff, some are not. Some are asking for 100% of the labour costs, some are asking for 80%, and saying that it's up to the school whether they top up the other 20%, and also committing in writing that they will return the 80% grant when that has been received from the government at whatever stage that is. And let's be honest, potentially that is likely to be some weeks, possibly even months hence, because the portal to actually reclaim these monies hasn't even been built yet. So I think that's one of the biggest issues that's facing the catering contractors, is actually how will they sustain their cash flow until they can receive that money. Some contractors are looking at the clause in the procurement policy note around performance-related contracts and sending invoices into schools that are an average of 3 months. Now, to me, that particular clause relates to performance-related contracts, not contracts generally. And we also have to bear in mind that it shouldn't be including the cost of the cash sales. So, like I say, there's a huge discrepancy, there's huge confusion. And please don't forget as well that often the contractors are as confused as you are. Each day almost, sometimes during the day, we get differing advice. And I say this as a supplier myself and as an employer myself. From day to day, we don't necessarily know what we're up against. So I think in the main, I would say that the contractors that we've been dealing with are trying to be fair. They are trying to find a balance between looking after their staff, ensuring that their organisation is going to be able to come out the other end of this, and also looking after their clients at the same time. Now, I'm saying in the main, there are some that are using this opportunity and they are really pushing the boundaries in terms of what they're asking for. But there are others that, generally speaking, I think are trying to be fair. So I fully appreciate that this tactic is longer than my normal 2 minutes, but I feel it's important to get some of this information across to you. What I would say is if you want any help or support in that regard, if you want any guidance, then please feel free to send an email to me, and my colleague Lucy and I will take a look at it and give you some advice. Please also speak to your lawyers if you're in any doubt. as to the validity of what's being asked of you. And of course, there are organisations like ASCL who, the fantastic Julia Harnden has prepared a spreadsheet where you can compile your coronavirus related losses and expenses. So that's really helpful. And I know that ISBL are also holding weekly conference calls commencing next week to, try and disseminate more information direct from government. So there's lots of great stuff going on. Oh, and of course, don't forget the school business forum as well, which the lovely Neil Limbrick has opened up to everybody now. So it's available to all business managers, regardless of whether you're in a local group or whether you're not. That is also available to you. Great source of information. There is a coronavirus discussion group. So lots of this stuff that I've been talking about with the catering is on that discussion thread. So please, try and use the support of all the individuals and organisations that are out there to help you. You're not in this alone. We are all in it together, and we can help each other out to get through this. So if you want to email me, it's lorraine@minervapcs.com. Our website is www.minervapcs.com, and you can find all our contact details on there. If you need any help or support, please let us know, including how you get access to the forum if that's something that you are unsure of. So I hope this tactic is helpful. What I would also say to conclude is that it is Easter over the next couple of weeks. I fully understand that some schools are open. I understand that some of you are going to have to work over that period. Not everybody is going to get a break, but please do try wherever possible to get some rest and to try to recharge your batteries, because I think we all know deep down that we work so much better when we've had a little rest and we've had a break. So where you possibly can, please do try to do that, even if it's as I say, in your back garden, or taking one of your Boris walks or runs for the once a day as we have to. So I hope that you're all keeping well, and we will get out the other side of this, and we will help each other through. So until next time, soldier on.